Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring each and every week. If you could subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, drop a like in the video. Rough one this morning. I'm off this morning burying my Uncle Paddy, who was a big red. Back in 1978, I think he bought me my first Liverpool scarf. My dad never really got me a whole lot of Liverpool because he was a Leeds fan. My dad used to play ball with Giles when John Giles' dad managed Ormond Celtic. And Giles, he went over, of course, to play for Leeds and stuff like that, and originally Man U as well. And my dad used to follow those boys. Any of the boys who headed over the water to Everton or Leeds or anything like that, that's the guys who he used to follow. So he never really was a Liverpool fan, you know. So, but my Uncle Paddy always spoke about us going over to Anfield and stuff like that. We never ever got to do a trip, unfortunately. But I remember back in 1970, I was only about 6, and I think he bought me my first ever Liverpool scarf, and I was trying to dig around over the last couple of days to try and find it to see could I put it in the coffin. And you know, I came into the funeral home there and he was decked out lovely, and the coffin was decked out lovely with Liverpool kind of insert and stuff like that, and all really nice, and not overboard, but nice and classy and stuff like that. So a sad day. He'd be 87 this year and stuff like that, so not a bad innings and stuff like that, but always sad when you lose someone like that, you know. But getting back, he must have been looking down on the game last night. This is a reaction to the Frankfurt game last night. I think a much better performance, hell of a lot more solid, obviously coughing up that early goal, an unbelievable goal from Frankfurt as well, great finish and stuff like that, but we should do much better, especially on the transition. But then we started to find our rhythm, and the one thing we spoke about is, one, you know, would Slot have the bravery to make the decisions that need to be made? Now, we'll find out on Saturday night if that was the case, or whether it was a case where he just rotated players with the Brentford game in mind. So we shall see. The lineup on Saturday night is going to be very interesting. But last night, I think we played really well. We could have scored a hell of a lot more goals. Unfortunately, we didn't. You know, Mo could have squared that one with Wirtz. Great to see Wirtz picking up 2 assists as well, but great to see him as well playing when we got to about 3-1 and we knew the pressure was kind of off, because we knew going into the game against Frankfurt, we knew they could score goals, but we also knew that they cough up a lot of goals. And if you look at their first 3 games of the Champions League, madness, probably the first time it's ever happened, they've all been 5-1s with 1 win and 2 defeats. So it was a big task last night. We needed to go there and put on a performance, get players scoring goals, gather a little bit of confidence going into what's going to be an extremely tough Brentford game on Saturday night. We will be doing a preview for it as well, and we're also doing a watch along. So make sure you set your bell notifications and all that kind of stuff, and subscribe to the channel. Brentford watch along on Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Should be a bit of crack. Join us that. Crack open a beer, whatever you want to do. We'll have a nice little Saturday sit in, and hopefully we can get the result that we want as well, because otherwise it's going to be torture. The lineup, of course, will be key. But last night the lineup was key. Putting players in their proper positions, setting up with a formation. Looked like a 4-4-2, and we spoke about this. I even spoke to Darren about this. If we were to set up in a 4-4-2, would that ease some of those problems we've had going down the flanks and stuff like that? Somewhat it did, especially in the transition. Ekitike is just a baller, and at this stage I think to be dropping him, questions would have to be asked and stuff like that. I thought Chiesa's worked great last night. I thought Curtis Jones in midfield, pulling the strings, the work rate, the drop in, the eye for a pass. Robbo's pass for that first goal, Ekitike, and Ekitike shown, you know, maturity beyond these years. The way he slipped that ball across the defender and went across him. So either one or two things were going to happen. He was either going to finish with a goal, or the defender was going to take him out and take a red card. So clever from a player like that, and I love to see that in players as well. So clever. The 2 set pieces off the 2 corners, 2 absolutely phenomenal bullet headers, Kanate and Virgil. And what we expect. This is something that we have spoke about a million times. These 2 big boys going up for these set pieces have to do much better, and that's what we seen last night. But absolutely phenomenal. Cody getting his goal as well. Cody's having, in a season where like it's been kind of mediocre and then these 4 defeats on the bounce, Cody has been one of those outstanding guys who's looked the part and stuff like that and all, and looks really good at the moment. Always on it, always looking for something. Dominic Szoboszlai again, the work rate's back there again. You can see putting in that shift and all. Mo is one that concerns me, Mo Salah, and a conversation probably needs to be had, and not in terms of dropping, not in terms of questioning and stuff like that, but he just looks like he's going through a real tough time, and we can't, although we don't want to keep on playing the Diogo Jota grief card and all that kind of stuff and all, it is definitely a factor, and you can see what Mo is affected by it. When he went away and he was playing with Egypt and stuff like that time, he seemed much more happier, he seemed more at peace. You can see some of the pictures that Egypt put up and stuff like that, he was smiling and stuff like that. There ain't no smile from Mo Salah when he's back at Liverpool and stuff like that, and I don't know whether it's a case of, is it the Jota situation, is it him trying to adjust to new players, is it him with a realisation now that, you do be coming to the end of your career and it's tough to take that. He's had an unbelievable career, arguably one of Liverpool's greatest ever players. He'll certainly be in that top list. But is it difficult coming to terms with that? Do we think it is a drop-off? I don't think so. But he just looks really unhappy. Maybe he's trying to adjust to the fact that maybe we were so reliant on him last year, what a season he had, and he really led that line sometimes nearly on his own at times to get us over the line to win that league. But maybe a realisation of having to come to terms with the fact that, the expectation is not for him to score as much this season, but, to share the goals around these players that we've brought in. And maybe his assists might go up more than his actual goals and stuff like that. That remains to be seen. We'll have to see what happens. But a phenomenal player, and it was real. It was really nice last night. You go onto social media after the game last night, and I don't have to listen to these absolute clowns now, and I mean real clowns who have no right to even wear that jersey or that badge, talking about slot out and questioning the players and questioning the signings and all this kind of stuff and all. Like if you want to critique a performance. But like, Florian Wirtz has been one of the best players and was voted the best players in the Bundesliga 2 years or something like that. You know what I mean? He hasn't just moved to Liverpool and become a shit player. Like, it's absolute the nonsense and the dross and the drivel that comes out, and the lack of understanding of sometimes it takes time to adjust to a league and all. And a lot of these, what I call new era Liverpool fans, who haven't had to walk haven't had to put in those hard miles, you know what I mean, through the 90s and the 2000s to get to enjoy where we are now and stuff like that. The missing out, the last game of the seasons, 89 against Arsenal, the heartbreak of that and all. These are guys who have come in and potentially jumped on the Klopp era and stuff like that, and they're just, instant self-gratification kind of people and stuff like that, and it fucking pisses me off, you know what I mean? Go do your history. Go listen to what Shankly had to say and what Paisley had to say and Big Joe and all, and these guys, and even Kenny and all, you know what I mean? Listen to Kenny Dalglish when he talks about Florian Wirtz, Listen to Jurgen Klopp when he talks about Florian Wirtz and stuff, And it just really boggles my mind. You go on a bit of a wobble and then it's downhill to fuck everything, the whole thing's a disaster and stuff like that. And I reminded people on the other reaction and the other shows I did, yes, there is a conversation to be had about Slot this season, his in-game management, his substitutions, emptying the bag out onto the pitch with no regard for formation or structure or patience, stuff like that. Unlike last year, where he was the king of doing that, he was able to multiple times change formations in a game to grind out results. This year, it's kind of been a bit more haphazard, and it's kind of mind-boggling as well, because obviously, with the window that we had, we've never experienced this as Liverpool fans. So our expectation was absolutely through the roof. People were online talking about how we were just going to blow teams away. The league would be won by February. All this kind of fucking nonsense. When the real football fans who actually look at the game and look at what other teams are doing, were able to recognise that Man City would bounce back. That Arsenal would be a better team this year. That Chelsea would be in the mix and all that kind of stuff. The absolute nonsense, we just got carried away because of that first year under Slot and winning the league and stuff like that and all, but then reality kicks in, and then they don't like the taste of reality. They don't like the taste of supporting their club when things aren't going well, when you're in the trenches, when you're trying to get through it, and it really bugs the shit out of me, you know what I mean? But that aside, great to have the lads back humming. Hopefully we can continue that. And I said it on those shows. I said that if we go out and we beat Frankfurt, we'll be back in the mix at the Champions League as well for automatic qualification. But not only that, if we can go out and beat Brentford as well, then what it means is we'd only be a point off Arsenal, even though Arsenal have to play Crystal Palace the next day. But that's not going to be an easy game, and anything can happen. And what we need to do is we need to go out and take care of our business, and then we need to test Arsenal's mettle. Have Arsenal got the mettle to see out a league, leading the league this early in the season, and see it all the way through, like what we did last season? Let's test our mettle and let's see what they have. Do they look like it? Absolutely. Arsenal are humming, there's no doubt about it. And we need to get into that rhythm of putting the points on the board and testing Arsenal. And when the opportunity does arrive, and let's be honest, it will arrive. It will arrive. Arsenal will pick up injuries. Arsenal will have a tough fixture list and stuff like that, and eventually it'll come a little bit unstuck, and we have to be in and around it there at that time, along with City and Chelsea, to put the pressure on and see how this league campaign turns out. So much more satisfied with what we seen last night. Players playing in their proper positions. The link-up play was phenomenal. The work rate, and I even said it last night, even at 3-1 and at 4-1, the endeavour and the energy and the press and the willingness to, even when you lost the ball, to win the ball back straight away and all that kind of stuff. That was nice to see last night. That's what we expect in this team. And fair play to them, to a man. Did an absolutely phenomenal job. Great to see Robbo back in there as well. That ball for Ekitike. That's Robbo, everyone, people talking about how washed Robbo is and all that kind of stuff. Absolute bullshit. You can use him a lot more sparingly and use him when you need to use and stuff like that. But Robbo's a phenomenal professional footballer. And we don't talk about these players at times enough. Shout out to Conor Bradley as well. Unlucky for Frimpong, obviously, with the hamstring injury. Really wanted to see what he was going to do last night. But Bradley came in, had his best performance of the season, I think, as well. Was a little bit off it initially, but got right into it and stuff like that, and did an absolutely phenomenal job. Big fan of Conor Bradley and stuff like that. And again, fans going in, not taking into account the boy had only come back off an injury. He was trying to fit into a team in a different formation, and this is the kind of bullshit that you're dealing with, you know what I mean? So hats off to the lads. Roll on Brentford. I'll be back tonight at 8:30. I think I'm doing the show tonight because I'm going solo. We'll do a preview for the Premier League. We'll have a quick look back at the Champions League, especially all the Premier League teams and stuff like that. And we'll have our little picks for Beat the Bookie as well. So a fun show. We'll also do League of Ireland as well. Massive weekend coming up in the League of Ireland. And we have a couple of big matches in Europe in the conference today for Shelbourne and Shamrock Rovers. So we'll keep an eye on them as well. So join us tonight at 8:30. Really looking forward to seeing you there. I will be back tomorrow. We will do a Brentford preview, and then Saturday night Brentford watch along. So the content coming at you thick and fast at the moment. So make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Give us all the support that you can. We really appreciate it. Roll on the Reds, and all you slot outers can sit right down. Let's go.